Hi guys, in this video I will teach you how to set up Google Ads conversion tracking using the Google tag, and also I'll show you how to import your conversions directly from GA4. Conversion tracking is super important. If it's not done correctly, then the Google algorithm is going to have a really tough time optimizing your campaigns. And lastly, as I just mentioned, I'm going to be showing you how to set it up using the Google tag and GA4. However, if you want me to create another video showing you how to set up conversion tracking using Tag Manager, then just comment Tag Manager below. And if enough of you do it, I'll make that video. And with that being said and done, let's jump into the video. As I quickly or briefly mentioned in the bidding strategies chapter, it's likely that we'll be using most of the smart bidding strategies when we're setting up our campaigns. So in order to do that, we have to have our conversion tracking set up, and we have to have it set up correctly, basically. So follow along here. There is also the downloadable cheat sheet, which has got exactly the same process as what I'm going to go through in this video, but in screenshots instead. So you can follow along in your own time, or you can follow along in real time now. You just might need to do a little bit of pausing here and there. If you are going to follow along in real time, I would suggest that you have your Google Ads account open already, and also your website backend or management system, whether it's Squarespace, Shopify, WooCommerce, whichever it may be. Get that open already. Navigate over to the actual site itself and have a couple tabs up and ready. If you want to use analytics conversions, we'll also be going through that. So I would suggest also having your Google Analytics open as well. As you'll see, we're back on the home screen in the overview tab again. And the first thing we want to do is we want to navigate again up to the tools and settings. And we're going to want to go to linked accounts first. I'm going to show you how to set up conversion tracking using snippets and using the Google Ads tag on your website. But I'm also going to show you how to import goals and events from GA4. In order to do that, we're going to want to link some of our accounts, our Google Analytics accounts, to our Google Ads account. And also, while we're here, we can talk about if you are running any YouTube activity, this is exactly where you'll be linking your YouTube account in order to create any YouTube remarketing audiences or anything like that. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, we have GA4 linked already, and we have YouTube linked already. So the example I'll be giving, I'll just be linking our Universal Analytics account. If you haven't linked these already, they will be down here from Google. So you just scroll down to here, find the one you want to link. So in my case, it's Universal Analytics. But if it's GA4, you'll see GA4 here. And I want to come across here and I want to look at details. And you just want to go ahead there and click link. And then you want to show link, and you probably want to import your site metrics as well. So just go ahead and click save. It's really as simple as that for linking. Now we've actually got all of our accounts that we want linked. So YouTube, Google Analytics, and GA4. So now we've got that linked. We want to go back to tools and settings. And rather than being in setup, we want to move over to measurement. In the measurement column, you will find conversion. So we want to go ahead, just click through onto conversions. And if you've already got a conversion set up, you're going to see this long list of all the conversions you have set up in your account. If you haven't got any conversions set up yet, this will be empty, but don't worry about that. It's really important for me, before we dive into actually setting up the conversions, what I like to do is I like to understand my main conversion points, right? And for most of the accounts that I manage, it's usually a sale or a lead. There have been times in the past where I've worked with clients who their main conversion points have actually just been site traffic, and that's been the priority, but they've been more brand-led clients and they're less concerned about driving value on site, and a lot of their products you can't actually buy on site anyway, so it was less of a priority. But I would say for most people, you're going to be looking at it's either driving sales or it's going to be driving leads. So you're going to want to set those up as your primary conversions. However, it is also worth setting up things like page view, also things like initiate checkout, add your payment details, and obviously finally your purchase. But those that are not primary, so your page view, initiate checkout, add payment details, add to carts, all of those things, you're going to want to set them up as secondary conversions. Within Google Ads, there are two types of conversions, primary and secondary. Primary conversions are used to make optimizations within the campaigns when you're using conversion-based bidding strategies. And secondary conversions, they're classed as observation conversions, but they are useful additional data points that Google can use to optimize its bidding process. So it's worth having them in there, and it's worth having them set up as observation audiences on all of your campaigns, just so Google knows that, oh, actually, to get a sale, I actually need to get a page view, an add to cart, a checkout initiate, and add payment info, and then I get the primary conversion. So the more data points you can give Google, the better. So it's really important here that we set everything up in quite a comprehensive way. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and I'm going to set up all of these different conversion points, but I will show you how to do it and where to navigate to do each of these setups. So I'm going to show you the 4 different methods, and you can go ahead in your own time and actually set up the full journey. And I'll also show you how to set some up as secondary and some up as primary. With that in mind, let's get started in the conversions page, and I'm going to hit add or plus new conversion action. That will bring me here. I'm going to look at websites. So this is about track actions on your website, whether it's online sales, link clicks, page views, signups, whatever it may be. And the second one will be import on the far right-hand side. So import data from Google Analytics or another source. And again here, there's multiple sources you can pull information in from, including offline lead conversions as well. To start with, I'm gonna crack on with website, and then we'll move into the importing later. When it comes to website, you click on it and you're going to be led to this page here. What I'm going to do is just use a client website we've got at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scan the website. And once it's scanned, it should give us a couple options. So now we've scanned the website, and what we've seen immediately is we've got 2 options. So we've got create conversion actions automatically from website events. So set up conversion actions without code if you can identify events on your website to count as conversions, such as loading a thank you page or a confirmation page. So essentially what this has done here is this has looked at my website and said, okay, so we think .com/account/purchase indicates a purchase. I know that's not actually correct. So I'm going to go and just decline that suggestion there. And I can also see here, it says got to add to basket. And it says user lands on a URL that starts with /cart. Now that is actually valid for me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one there. And then finally, we've got contact. I'm not really interested in that either. So I'm going to go ahead and decline that. Now, if you haven't got anything here, or if you declined all of the suggestions because they're not correct, you then want to go ahead and add in your own event. So you can do that by going here. And as this mentions here, so this is, remember, these are conversion actions automatically from the website. So this is conversions based on loading a page specifically. So if you do want to track conversions here, you will need to have a thank you page already in place. And you'll need to be using that URL as your conversion page. So it'll be a land on that URL is what will trigger a conversion. If I'm going to go in here and I want to track a conversion, I'm going to go to select conversion goal, which will bring up a series of categories for me to choose from. What I want to do here, because I know this is going to be actually a submit lead form. So I'm going to click submit lead form. And I know that when somebody submits the lead form on my website, they will land on this URL, which is the thank you page. So I'm going to go ahead and add that there. So now I've got my conversion set up and I've got my add to basket set up. And just to make this really simple, I'm going to remove the add to basket. So this is the first way of adding conversions. Now the second way is manually using code, and we will come back to that in a minute. I'm going to continue setting up this one here first, but I want to let you know before we go any further that if you do add conversion events using this method, it's great if you want to track a thank you page or a lead submit form. But if you want to tie a value to this, you'll need to be setting conversion actions up manually instead. But if you don't want to add any value to your conversions, then that's great. And we can just carry on and go from here. So if I wanted to add in page land, I could do that. I don't want to have a value associated with it. I just want to make sure that after they've clicked, they've landed and loaded the page, I can add that on there as well, which I highly suggest you do that. So once I've got all of the different conversions I want to track from a URL perspective, if I want to go down this route, then the next thing I want to do is go ahead and click Save and Continue. We will be brought to this page here. What this is doing is this is asking you to set up a Google tag on your website. And there are two ways of doing this. You can do it yourself, or you can email the instructions to your webmaster. So if you have someone who manages your website, I would suggest you go in here, you put their email address in, and you fire this over to them and you let them deal with it. Then click Done. However, if you do not, and if you are managing the website yourself, then you need to actively input the Google tag into your site. So what we want to do here is we want to go Set Up Tag, and we will receive this. Now, we don't want to choose a tag that we already have because this is for a new website. So you want to install a Google tag. Once you've done that, you can come down to the bottom and press Next. So what this is going to do is give you another two options. Either install with a web builder. So if you're using any of these, you can just go ahead, put your website in or click here, and you can automatically link it to your website. So these are all of if you have Wix, you can just link it, very straightforward. Same with Squarespace, the WordPress plugin, and various other ones. What I'm going to do is, this is very straightforward. Just click through and then you follow the instructions and it's done automatically. What I will do is actually do this manually for those who are not running on any of these websites. So you want to go install manually. Then you want to take this tag, and it says here, install the Google tag manually. Below is the Google tag for this account. Copy and paste it in the code of every page on your website immediately after the header element. Don't add more than one Google tag per page. So what we understand from this is the site-wide tag. So this needs to be on every single page on your website. So we're going to copy it. Then we're going to move over to our website, which I've got here on Squarespace. I come back to home screen. I click Settings. I click Advanced. And I put Code Injection. And essentially what that brings up here is my header. And this is the header that will be injected into the head tag on every page of your site. And all I want to do is go in here and I want to paste in my site-wide tag. Now we've obviously got a few other things set up here already, so I'm not going to do that just yet. But once I've done it, you just want to save that and head back over to your Google Ads account. So now you've installed that, or if you've linked it, you want to go ahead and just click Done to tell Google that you've installed it. Now, if you've actually installed it, it will come up here at the top saying, we can see the tag, it's installed correctly, great. If it's not installed correctly, you will get this message here, and you need to go in and start again, I would suggest, because something hasn't been set up correctly. This can be a little bit pernickety sometimes, so again, stick with it, check the cheat sheet, and really, if you're still struggling, just reach out to myself on Discord and I can try and help you. But once you've done that, you want to go ahead and click Done. So you've set up the universal tag on your site. And now that I've done that, you'll see it just takes me straight back to the conversion page because we're using just a URL to fire. But what I want to do here is I actually want to go and find the conversion that's been set up. So it's actually this one here. And I want to go in and edit it actually. So I'm going to click on it, open it up, and it's going to show you this screen. And the reason I'm going to edit this is because it creates the settings automatically when you do it this way. And I actually want to change some of these settings. So I've gone into the settings for this conversion and I'm going to click Edit Settings. So this is where you are able to change the conversion name if you would like. You can come in here and just edit this, or you can come in here and change the goal category for this action. So this is what I'm recommending if you're setting up page lands or something like that. You want to come in here and you want to put that onto a secondary action, unless it's the sale or the direct conversion that you want to be optimizing your account to. Have it as a secondary action. You also have the ability to come here and say, okay, I know that for every lead I get, it will be worth, let's say, $100. But I know only 50% of my leads actually convert. Therefore, the average lead I get will actually only be worth $50. So I can go in and actually put a value in here. I can't set up dynamic value, but I can set up same value. So as I said earlier, if you set things up manually, you can use a dynamic value. So if you're using if you've got a Shopify store or something like that, selling lots of different products, you'll likely want to use a dynamic value rather than a static value. But for something like lead form submissions, you can go ahead and set a static value, or you can use no value at all if you choose to. I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 50. I'm going to keep it as a primary action as well. And all of these I'm okay with. I'm just going to click done. And there we go. The lead form is, or the conversion is actually set up in the account, and I can go down and I can find it here. You can see it says unverified. And what I'll do is if you click on troubleshooting, it will take you to the tag assistant and you can go and verify that that tag is firing on your site. So that's it for URL tracking. The next step, I'm going to show you how to set it up manually. So again, we're going to go back to new conversion action and we're going to click website. This time I'm not going to set up the Google tag again because we've already done that in the previous one. I'm just going to scan the website. If you have skipped ahead of the URL conversion, I would recommend going back because there is the instructions in how to install the global site tag that you will also need to have in place for this as well to be firing correctly. Now that's loaded, we want to scroll down to create conversion actions manually using code. So set up conversion actions manually. I'm going to go ahead here and just click add a conversion action manually. And again, I'm going to go ahead and say I want to do a submit lead form. I'm going to leave the name as submit lead form, and I want to use the same value for me. It's just going to be the $50 again. But if you are setting up a purchase, for example, you're going to want to set up the different values, the dynamic values it pulls in. So you're going to want to go ahead and do that. I also want to look at the count here. If someone clicks your ad and completes 2 separate purchases on different occasions, 2 conversions are recorded. This is great if you're selling products. You definitely want to keep it on every. On lead forms, probably suggest you go to 1 because you only want 1 lead form submission per person. And this says you're tracking leads. Someone clicks your ad and enters their information twice on your website. Only 1 conversion is reported per click. So that's great. That's how we want it to be set up. All in all, that looks in order. I'm happy to keep these settings through here as well. I'm just going to go down and click done. So once we're done, similar to when we worked with this URL tracking here, we're just going to go ahead and click save and continue. Obviously, if you want to add more conversion actions, you can go ahead and do that in here now. Save and continue. We've already got the Google tag set up. So we did that in the previous one. So I hope you have as well. And if you have, you'll come to this screen here and you've got 3 options when you set things up manually. It is set up with Google Tag, email the instructions to your webmaster, same as we had with the last one, but also use Tag Manager. Tag Manager we'll cover in another course, so don't worry about that for now. At the moment, we're going to set up with the Google Tag, seeing as we've already put the global site tag on our website. And to do this, we need to find the trigger for this. We need to look at See Event Snippet here. So when we click on See Event Snippet, this will show us Conversion Event Snippet for Submit Lead Form. So remember, this is when they land on the thank you page, we want this event to be triggered. So for us, we want page load here. So we're going to keep it on page load. You can also do click, but we want to keep it on page load. When we click page load, we're given the specific event snippet. And what we want to do with this is we want to put this on the specific page where the person lands after they've submitted the form. Likewise, if you were doing it for sales, you want to put this snippet on the thank you for your purchase page, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So we click here, copy, and then we're going to move back over to our website platform, in this case, Squarespace. For this snippet, we actually want to, obviously, remember, we don't want this site-wide, so we're not going to settings anymore. We're going to go to pages and we're going to find the page where it's relevant. So in this case, it's this thank you page here. We open that thank you page and we want to then hit the cog icon, and then that will bring up settings for the specific page on its own. Again, we want to head to advanced and you can see inject custom code or scripts to enhance specific parts of your page. And here we simply want to go in and we want to paste in the event snippet, and then we want to save and close this. I already have some code put into this particular page, so I'm not going to do it, but it's very straightforward. Just hit Control V and it will go straight in there. Save and close, and then navigate back to Google Ads. And once you've done that, you can click close. And finally, you can then go ahead and click done. So you can see with that method, It allows us to add more data and play with the settings up front. With the automated URL-based ones, we have to go in again afterwards and to adjust those settings if we want to. As always, I recommend using the manual setup purely because you can pull in those conversion values as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. Sorry, guys. And as with the previous one, you can click troubleshooting and then your tag assistant will come up. It will take you to the website. And if you navigate to the page where that event snippet is set up, be firing on your website, on the tag assistant, sorry, and you'll know that it is working. Next up, we're going to look at Google Ads and Google Analytics. So obviously we've linked the accounts. I still recommend using Google Ads itself, the manual setup personally, but if it's easier and you want to keep all of your data in one place, by all means, go with the analytics. Before we hit new conversion action, we want to go to our analytics. So I'm going to go over to our GA here, and I'm in GA4 here. So I'm going to go to our GA4 account, make sure I'm on the home screen, and I'm going to scroll down to configure. In configure, you have events. Now we've got some events set up here already. These most of the time will actually self-populate. So you shouldn't actually have to set anything up. But if you do, you can go into create event and you can create an event specifically for whichever account it is you want to do and for whatever event you want to track as well. But for this case, as most of you will have these already in here, you want to go ahead and just make sure you've got your actual conversion points set up. So for me, I've just got purchases here. So I've gone on toggled on the purchase mode or the purchase as an event. And now once I've done that and it's saved, I want to toggle back to the Google Ads platform. And I want to hit plus new conversion action. But this time, rather than going website, I want to move across and import data from Google Analytics instead. So I click on that and it brings up the different options of data imports I can use. So as mentioned, we want to use Google Ads for properties. And for me, it's actually a website, not an app. So I'm going to go and click web. And then I'm going to go and click continue. And because we've set up our events already, we will automatically see them pulled through like this. And really, you just want to go ahead, click on it, and you want to import and continue. It says you've imported one web conversion action from Google Analytics or GA4. Nothing really to worry about here for you guys. So you can go ahead and just click done. And there you go. So if I scroll down to the purchase, I can see that I've got a Google Analytics 4 conversion source. It's actually set up as a secondary at the moment, but I can see it set up here. And if I want to change that, I know this is a purchase. I want to put it as a primary. I can again just go and click into the conversion itself. I want to hit edit settings and I want to come up here and I want to switch this to a primary conversion action and I want to save it. So that's how we set it up for GA4. It's very straightforward. So I can understand why a lot of people will use their GA conversions rather than anything else. It does make sense. Right, we blasted through that very quickly, and I know that was a lot to take in, and some of it may sound really confusing, and it is a little bit confusing. It's not the most straightforward thing in the world. So I apologize in advance already about that, but I have put together quite a comprehensive cheat sheet to go with this, with screenshots of every process along the way. So if you are confused, please rewatch the video again, or if you're a bit strapped for time, check the cheat sheet. Every single point that you need to tick off is on that cheat sheet, screenshot by screenshot, every button press that you need to do. It's all there already. So have a look at that. And if that fails, then again, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Just remember that this is really important to get set up correctly, because if we don't have the right goals set up, then we're not tracking the right information. And most importantly, we are not optimizing to the correct values or to the correct goals. Thank you for your time. I will see you in the next section.